I can't believe it's been about a year since this thing has seen the day of light. And I can't believe it's been a year since this was actually a trend on YouTube and Instagram and other places, but this seems something interesting. Wait, that's today's video, isn't it? Hello Internet, it's Andrew Michael here with another video, and in today's video we're going to talk about something that is very interesting. What happened to fidget spinners? If you want to see more gaming news, and potentially a new series, which I might be starting on Saturdays, go ahead and leave a like so I'll know what you like, and go ahead and subscribe and tell your friends about this channel. Now, let's get on to today's news episode. So this really isn't in the news category, but I might as well just take advantage of this since this isn't gaming or gaming news. These things. This was one of the biggest trends in 2017. So I know there's a lot of things going about. We left everything in 2017, but let's go on a flashback drive. Remember when these things first came out? Where I think it was a news thing. See, I told you news was going to play into this. The news industry capitalized on something. I saw a story about a girl who had this toy, and she'd use this toy in case she had ADHD, and she'd use it to just spin this thing around. And so her friend, or so this news story says, that her friend saw this and just like, what is that? She said, it's a spinner. My doctor gave it to me so that way I can treat my anxiety. And so the kids were like, oh cool, this is interesting. So basically it went around and boom, this thing became a viral sensation. It was a thing you put in your pocket and you spin it, right? Well, it's been 1 year since these things have seen the light of day, like I said earlier. And what happened to them? Well, I'll tell you what exactly happened to them. YouTube happened in 2017. Now, I'm not going to badmouth YouTube, but I am going to say this. YouTube was a little weird, wasn't it, in 2017? It was. And there were a lot of weird memes and trends that came on, especially good memes and bad ones. But one thing that was a question, why did these things become so viral? Like, I remember on my old YouTube channel, Foggy334, I did a video on these, and it got to like 50 views, and it was the first time I made 1 penny on YouTube. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I made a penny on YouTube. And it was a video on these. And I don't know why. I don't know why these things allowed me to get a penny on YouTube and I didn't even have 100 views. Which is interesting. And so now, in 2018, you don't hear anything about them. You don't hear about the thing that they were pushing anymore. They just killed it off. But I will say this, fidget spinners are still around. Surprisingly, it is. Like today on Amazon or eBay or on YouTube, you can look up fidget spinners in 2018. And what do you see? Fidget spinner videos. Not with that many views as it used to be, but it's somewhat interesting to see what happens to trends after their trending train dies. And it's just there. Well, I will say this, there are a lot of people who are still collecting these. In fact, the people that were selling these, like Walmart and Reveille's Hardware, was for some reason, why would they sell them? Anyways, Walmart, Reveille's Hardware, Dollar Tree occasionally sold them, and many other places sold them here in the United States. I don't know where it is anywhere else, but here in the United States, it was very interesting to see, like, how these things somehow became so popular that I was like, so all of these sold out? And this is the story behind this one. I remember it was back in March or April when everyone was talking about these fidget spinners, like, oh my goodness, these things are so cool, but then they always sold out. And I was like, whoa, what is this? How are these people already selling out? And so when I went to the Reveille's Hardware and I bought something there and I saw this last red fidget spinner there at Reveille's Hardware for $5. Yes, these things sold for $5, or everywhere else they were like $10. So I thought this was a great steal. So I left the store, and the reason these things are missing is because I tried the thing with the air compressor, and one of these things flew out, and it made this thing really unbalanced. So I just took the other 2 out, and I got a little bit more broke because I didn't know what this thing was. So I glued it in. You see this little screwdriver here? and on the other side it's a screwdriver with a little washer in there. You can see it there. And that's what I did to it, and surprisingly, it still spins. But here's another thing. Then my mom said, hey, you get a little bit more money. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try these fidget spinner things. So I have 5 fidget spinners. Now, it's not like 500 or 100 or 300 or a million, but I kind of think these are a little bit of a collector's item now, because it's not really a big thing, but it's a thing. I mean, it's like a toy that you use if you're bored at work, and many people you saw were making these things. And to be honest, many people are still making them. The problem is not many people are buying them. So that's why I might put in the title Fidget Spinners for sale, just so you guys don't like get mad at me for doing that, but I might do it. Why not experiment with a couple of things? First of all, what are these people doing? And two, is it worth it trying to do that? Because on YouTube and Instagram, if you look up fidget spinners, you don't see that many growing things anymore because of the fact that they're not as popular as they used to be. But the thing is, what is the most popular toy now? And the problem is, there isn't one that I know of. But if there is one that is popular out there, leave a comment below. What do you think is a popular toy today? And if I've ever heard of it before, I'll try it. But I know there is one thing about the Japanese metal ball. And just like with a trend, there's an interesting start somewhere. These curiously little projects then transpire onto big YouTube things, and then for some reason it'll just cradle on down into something that's very interesting for people to watch. And the thing about this one, this Batman one, is that I put this in the video, and a lot of people were asking me, whoa, what is that? And it's like, this is a Batman fidget spinner. It's not like an actual Batman looking thing, but it resembles the shape of Batman, and it spins. And so a lot of people got intrigued by that because there were more designs, there were different types of fidget spinners that were going out there. In fact, one that was out there, that was a Bluetooth fidget spinner that was out there for people to use. But as time went, like from August to September and October when I was going back to college, I didn't hear much about fidget spinners. And I was like, wait a minute. So 2 months ago, these things were getting sold out, and now they're not. So I'm like, is there something that I'm not catching? Like, why is this dying? Like, you'd think as much as these things were pushed, these things would actually, you know, still be here, but they really weren't. I mean, even when I went to Walmart, like 2 months ago, last year, 2 months ago, like in April or May, as soon as I got out of school, I'd be like, okay, let's see how many fidget spinners they have this time. And they didn't have any. But then when August and September rolled around, they had a whole stack of them. They had a full case of them. And I was like, why? Why do you guys have this many? And people were saying, well, for some reason, not many people were buying them. And I got very intrigued by that. And so I went around, I looked around. Even the places they usually would sell them in the toy aisles were stocked full. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? Why are not many people buying them? And it's because of the fact that things were not becoming interesting anymore. The trend was dying, and so people would not buy them anymore. And that's why you see a whole caseload and all this stuff of fidget spinners. In fact, at flea markets and all this stuff, you'd see them sell for $2, $3 just to get them out of their hands. And it's so interesting to see what this trend did. And even on YouTube, you saw before where people were clickbaiting with these. They were saying how they were getting cut by these things. They were saying how all these things would happen. But then in August and September, nothing happened. It just died. I mean, it's like, what happened to these things? And here in 2018, you never hear anyone talking about them except me, because I still have 5 of these and I have no idea what to do with them. Which now is the perfect time to do this. If you want to buy any more fidget spinners for a cheap price but at a good value, go to my website. I will link down in the description down below. Anyways, back to the video. Now, I have no idea what I'm going to do with these. But I am going to have these as kind of like a reminder, saying that if there's a trend out there, don't buy so many of these things. Unless you're a collector and you want to buy a lot of these things, that's cool. But what I am saying is this. It's interesting to see what happens to a trend after it's dead. It's interesting to get into a collection after the trend is over, after something is over. What happens to those things? And what happens when you show these things to other people? In fact, if I went around spinning this thing, it'd be very interesting to see what kind of result I would get. Whoops, dropped that. Anyways, it's very odd to see what happens in trends and what happens on YouTube and Instagram and all this stuff. And the social culture, like culture when you go around talking to people, I would take this and spin this. And a lot of people would just look at it and just be like, oh, cool. Even when I went to church, people were saying, oh, they didn't like it because of the fact that it distracted the teachers from teaching. I'm like, why? It's because, well, it made so much noise that there's no way, how and way this could possibly, you know, like cause anxiety relief or something like that. And I'll be like, but it's a toy though. I mean, you gotta give it a little bit more excitement. I'm like, no, we can't. It's a toy. You can't do anything with that. I'm like, okay. It's like there's no medication with it or anything like that, but it's a toy out there that people were liking. And then the teachers and all this stuff were taking them away because they thought they were distracting. Even though they didn't make that many noises. Even though the only thing they did was like a hissing noise. But that's the only thing. And I guess that's the only way they would get distracted is if they just confiscate them for a day and give it back. But they're not like cell phones. Well, they kind of were like cell phones. And the fact that the kids were getting addicted to them. And they do it for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Just keep spinning them for hours. And in fact, the spinners were like the phones in the case, like I just said, because of the fact that they were so addictive. And I think that's why the teachers were getting onto this, because you know how the thing is, if a teacher says it, then it's probably going to go in the news, and you have a psychologist or a mental health person coming in saying, oh, this is bad for you. Oh, you shouldn't be doing this because it's addictive. We don't want to see our kids becoming addictive. We want them to learn parenting issues, which is a good thing. But I will say this. It's interesting what happened to these things. They became so addictive that they were like cell phones. You just keep them on there, and it's like, whoa, this is very interesting. Anyways, this is going to wrap it up for today's video. If you want to see more content, make sure to turn on the notifications. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And if you ever want to follow me on Patreon and donate, which I'm not saying you have to, but if you want to, it's in the description down below. And until next time, I am Andrew Michael, and I'll see you guys next time. Thumbs up.